Okay, today I want to talk about how to get your territory up and running, but really two specific things that are fairly big tasks, but they're just two specific things that you need to do. The first thing is going to be a focus on the accounts. Now, I'm bringing up this map of Connecticut because just to have a look at it, because when you're bringing up your accounts or you're populating accounts into Salesforce, one thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to be really familiar with the geography in your given territory, and I'm very familiar with where all the cities are, the towns are. I mean, of course, I've lived in Connecticut my entire life, but spend some time looking at a map. I mean, that's all I have to say is just look at a map, familiarize yourself with where the major towns and cities are, and make sure that you know the travel distances. For instance, there are times when I get a candidate that lives in Stamford that wants a job in Hartford, or that is applying for a job in Hartford, or vice versa. I have individuals that won't go from Stamford to Fairfield. So that's because of the traffic patterns. And if you lived in Connecticut, you would know that. I will oftentimes get a candidate from out of state that isn't aware of this, and they'll live, you know, out of state. They're saying, "Well, I'm going to be living in Norwalk, and I'm looking for jobs in Hartford." Well, they're crazy to do that, and they don't know that. But get to know your territory and the traffic patterns, because that is going to make a world of difference in terms of saving you time for not putting candidates up for certain positions that you just know that they're not going to be able to keep up that commute and that distance. So that's one thing to do. The second thing is to really just go by this right here. This is and we probably talked about this before, but this is the specialty list that is on the accounts section of Salesforce. So you would go to accounts and then specialty, pull this up, and here are all your specialties. What I would like for everyone to do is to first start with a given specialty, and we'll just start with cardiology. And in a moment, I will go over which ones I think are the most low-hanging fruit to begin with. Things like addiction medicine, that's not something you're going to search for. However, you would search for cardiology in Hartford, Connecticut, cardiology in Connecticut, cardiology in Fairfield County, cardiology in Litchfield County. All of those different searches are going to yield different results. And I would encourage you to try each and every single one of those, and even try, some things on your own to see if you're getting different results. Again, and I know we've talked about this before, but we're only going after private practices for right now. So you may come upon a practice that's a cardiology practice that might say Cardiology Associates of Fairfield County, and they're owned by St. Vincent's, and it's made clear on the practice that they're owned by St. Vincent's. Well, that's a hospital. They would be hospital owned, therefore they wouldn't be someone that we might target. You may have to make a call to verify that, but that's a different step. So again, let's go back to the specialties. I would like to just go over the low-hanging fruit. What I believe is what you should start with. Cardiology. That's a specialty that I would do all of those searches with and populate my database with. Dermatology, endocrinology, family practice, gastroenterology, internal medicine, multi-specialty, neurology, pain management, orthopedics, pediatrics, primary care, psychiatry, and urgent care. Those are the specialties I would focus on first. I would do all of those searches, like I said, whether you're in New York or Massachusetts or Texas or Kansas, wherever it may be. Urgent care, Topeka, urgent care, Kansas, like that. Urgent care, Houston, urgent care, Dallas, urgent care, Texas. That's what you're going to focus on, and then do that with every specialty. And by the end of that exercise, you'll find that you have a very well populated database. And as you're, looking those up, certainly you can make those calls. One last thing that I'd ask everyone to do is, in getting to know your geography, part of this would be to know where the hospitals are in your specific territory, and where the physician assistant and nurse practitioner programs are. Nurse practitioner and physician assistant programs are not at every single university. These are all master's programs, but they're not offered at every single university. So you'll have to get to know which programs and which universities in your particular state offer these programs. Be very familiar with them. When it comes to physician assistants and their programs, it's either that they're offered or they're not. When it comes to nurse practitioner programs, you'll find that there are universities that offer nurse practitioner programs. However, they only offer programs in certain certifications. So for instance, you may have a university that offers a nurse practitioner program, but they only offer certification in family practice, adult practice, psychiatry, and pediatrics. Okay, there are 4 or 5 more certifications that are offered. One thing that I one thing that I really need to know and focus on for my specific territory is which nurse practitioner programs offer psychiatric nurse practitioner programs. So not every university offers that. In fact, about only half of the programs in Connecticut offer psychiatric medicine. And psychiatric medicine is becoming one of the biggest specialties, anywhere, because more people, the stigma is being lessened and more people are seeking out psychiatric help. And you want to make sure that you know who's offering those programs, because you may have to get in touch with a program director and say, hey, program director, I have a position in Hartford, Connecticut. I see that you're the program director of a college in West Hartford, let's say, and I need to get in touch with you because would you be willing to put out this job posting to your prospective students or to your graduating students or your current students? And that's something that you may have to source. That would be an example of active recruiting that you would be able to do at this point, because you're not right now filling your database with candidates, physician assistants, and nurse practitioners. Remember, we're only focusing on the accounts. So to get to know which universities offer those programs is something that will be very fundamental to, to you getting to know your territory and populating this database. I would like for you to also make and enter into Salesforce all of the hospitals that are in your specific territory. Now, that's not something that you're going to have to do right away. It's not something that you should make a priority, but at some point that is an exercise that should be done. And that is it for right now. So I hope that you do the following. You get to know your territory, get to know the cities in your territory, and then also get to know which offer those programs for both a physician assistant and nurse practitioner, which universities. And then also, I hope that you are able to go into Salesforce and use the specialty one as a guideline to use for your searches, so that you are able to search appropriately as well as get those results and then populate your database with the accounts and their websites and all the crucial information that you'll need in order to proceed forward.